All right, we are live here for another episode of Real Estate Junkies Podcast. We have here today Tanya Thomas, associate broker with eXp Realty, who grew up in Detroit. Tanya has been in real estate literally over a decade now. Has it been a decade? How long have you been in real estate?
I have been a licensed agent, and I'm sorry, it's Tania.
Tania, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But I've been a licensed agent since 2010, so 12 years now.
Wow. So definitely, literally a decade now, run your own local team and now global organization with the eXp Realty, managing your own agents. I've been following you. I can't tell you how long, but I definitely been following you, especially because you do these weekly lives, and that's something I started recently. I went live for like 14 days straight, and I've been watching you to kind of like learn how to go about going live. Those were definitely an inspiration for me because the video thing, us real estate agents are not good at marketing, and nobody teaches us this stuff. Definitely I want to hear your story on how you got started on marketing and going live, educating your clients, educating agents. So tell us about your story, how you got started in real estate, what you have been through so far, and what you're doing now in real estate, and as far as sales, and why real estate? Why did you get started on real estate?
All right. So I thank you so much too. I'm glad that I could be an inspiration because I just jumped out and you said it. It was like, oh my goodness, this is the unknown, So going live and doing those things was, it was a challenge for me initially. And it's still like, I actually just launched my YouTube channel about 30 minutes ago.
Wow.
So
let's go.
Thank you. But it's all really been spirit led for me. Like it's been the Lord really pushing me to do the things that I've been doing, digitally, because he's like, you got to get in front of people, right? And then it's other people he has pushing me. So it's been a push. So I'm glad I could be an inspiration because I needed a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, honestly, like you've been consistent. I always like saw you, like you market your flyers, I think you do Wednesdays. Do you know what? Tuesday with Tania or something like that, right? And I always see this, I'm like, man, I gotta get on that too. Like, she's killing it. Like, it's consistency. It's people see you, and then I'm sure you get a lot of business out of that, or people at least mentioning, like, I did that 14 days. Everywhere I go, people talk about my life. I'm like, this works.
It does. And it's amazing. I do get a lot of business, a lot of organic business just from being in front of people. So it is really, it's very helpful. And I was glad to do it. I was kind of a little nervous even launching my YouTube channel, taking it from Facebook to YouTube because I have such a big following on Facebook, but I took a leap of faith and started.
Nice.
Yeah. But as far as the real estate goes, I actually started off as a loan officer in like 2004, and then people in my office were flipping homes, and it was like I really fell into each thing, honestly. So the people in my office were flipping homes, so I got into flipping homes, and then when the market changed, I'm like, So I ended up getting into property preservation. You know what that is?
Yeah, so basically it goes into foreclosure, and then the bank's holding the property, so they have to do the winterization, boarding up the property, making sure it doesn't get more damage, right? Kind of something like that.
Absolutely. So when the mortgages were high, like in 2008, it was amazing. So that's when I got into it. And so when that slowed down, I'm like, let me get my real estate license. So that's when I got my real estate license in 2010. The market was still down, but I saw that the foreclosure rate was not as prevalent as it was when I first got into preservation. So I was on preservation in like 8 different states at the time. So it was, I had started in Michigan and then just started duplicating it in different states. So it was pretty cool. And then I started doing my real estate career kind of part-time because I was still doing that here and there. And so I've been pretty much full-time since like 2014. And then I decided to go ahead and start a team because I've always liked business. I am not necessarily sales, but I do it, So I've always liked business. So that's why I always like the opportunity to scale. So yeah, so that's where it all started at. And now we just opened up in Arizona, and we plan to open up in Ohio before the end of the year. It's our team. It's the Lord actually gave me the vision of expanding to different states, and it's kind of like a propensity. Like, how did I did it with the property preservation, so I know I can do it with real estate. I've been doing this forever, so it's yeah, that's what I plan to do. And EXP was like a no-brainer because you can connect with so many agents, and it's such a no-brainer. It was such a no-brainer to me. I'm like, why hadn't I been done this?
So you're coming from Keller Williams, correct? Like I remember seeing you with Keller Williams for a while, and like decision. I mean, I guess like there's lot of similarities as far as rev share and like profit share. Network. Keller Williams has a big network too, nationwide. Like what's different? How long has it been you came to EXP? Like a couple months, 3, 4, 5 months?
I came in February, actually. I started in February, so it hasn't even been a full 2 months yet.
And is there like I guess like what are the benefits you're seeing coming into EXP from Keller Williams for all the Keller Williams audience that are listening?
I think we
yeah, I think you're good now. Yeah, I think you closed for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it hasn't been a full 2 months yet, and I absolutely love it. And it's amazing how you can come over and just attract people. Just have been coming with me, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's really amazing, just the difference between, because we do it right at Keller Williams. We had revenue share, and now we not revenue share, we had profit share.
Yeah.
And now we have revenue share. So the difference for me was that they're giving us actual revenue share, so we know what we're going to get off of these people that we're bringing in. And then they have so much support for the people that we bring in nationwide. It's so many trainers, it's too many to count, right? And then just the fact that everybody connected to you is helping the people you bring in. They're helping you and all the people you bring in. Like, I'm sponsored by Justin Ford. I know I see you guys communicate a lot. And he's like messaging me. He messaged me twice today. Like, Tania, I want you to know that three times a day. Like, hey, let's jump on so I can train you on this and I can show you this. So it's just so much help, within the company. On top of the stocks, the stock was, that was a no-brainer. I'm like, I'm in, where would I have been if I would have been here, 5 years ago, in the stock program? It's just doing the same things I was doing at Keller Williams. I can make so many more opportunities to not just make more money, but impact more people.
For sure, definitely. And like you said, Justin, being under Justin I was this close joining under Justin. There are some reasons. Nothing related to him. There were other partnerships that I had going on, so that I joined under someone else. But definitely, Justin is a great value add for an upline. So people that are under you, they are basically set. The amount of, I could only imagine how much he gives back and all of his coaching, and he is a case study himself.
Yes.
So
yes.
And you talk about God, and your team name clearly tells us you're a God person. How did God play in a role in this journey into real estate, into your life so far?
So really, like, the Lord led me to KW initially, when he led me to, because I was able to get my broker's license at the time. And I'm like, Lord, should I get my broker's license and go out on my own? Because my broker actually was joining KW. So he was closing shop down and joining KW. He's Reggie Perryman. I'm sure you probably know of him.
Reggie, okay.
Yeah, we were good friends. I've known him since I was like 2.
I didn't deal with Reggie. Yeah, I know Reggie really well, and I always speak highly of him because it's just like, Detroit real estate. It's like, if we're not nice to each other, deals ain't happening.
Exactly. Yeah, so he was closing down and going to KW real low. So I was praying like, Lord, what should I do? Should I go to KW with him, or should I get my own broker's license and just do my own thing? And I was led to go to KW, and the Lord just told me, just plug into the systems. I actually over doubled my sales by going to KW and plugging into their systems, and having the coaching, accountability, and being around the people. So that was amazing. And I mean, almost 3 times my sales, seriously, in the first year I was there.
Wow.
And so, it was good. And then I was just there because, that's the last thing the Lord told me was stay there, right? And then, so EXP I've been doing deals with people at the EXP, and I'm following them on Facebook, and I'm just seeing how good they're doing. And I'm like, okay. And then I just keep seeing more and more people go to EXP. I'm like, it's just piqued my interest, but I never really looked into it, further. And so I ended up, I saw a guy who was at KW, Mark Blair. I saw him at a Five Below by my house during Christmas. So I'm like, you're on EXP? He had an EXP on his jacket. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, what is this about? You just keep seeing it. And then so I ended up, I was talking to a friend of mine and a colleague of mine, and she was saying that she was going to leave KW and get her own brokerage. And I'm like, it just came on my mouth. I said, if I leave KW, I'm going to EXP. I don't know where it came from. Obviously, it came from God. It came right through me, right? And then I was telling Heaven on my team, I was telling her that, and she's like, just quit. So she set a meeting up with me like the next day, and somebody that she knew with ESP, and they explained the model, and I was like blown away. I couldn't unsee it. I just couldn't.
Let's fix the timeline. I know God's playing, influencing you, but like when you were with Reggie before KW, how long was that? Like you were licensed?
I was licensed. I got licensed. So I was licensed for 5 years before I went to KW.
Wow. Wow. And then KW, how long have you been with KW before you came to EXP?
15. I was with KW for 7 years.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. 7 years with KW, and you just, okay, if I leave KW, I'm going to EXP, just like that.
Just out of my mouth. It wasn't a thought. It was like literally came up out of me.
Wow.
And then like the next week, she set up a meeting for us because we were working on opening up in Arizona, right? And so she set up a meeting, and she's like, well, if we're going to open up in Arizona, we might as well start fresh. So just listen to what they have to say. And I'm like, okay, so I listened, and it was like really mind blowing with the stats. And this guy, he wasn't doing half of what, the guy we were talking to, he wasn't even doing half of what we were doing. And the impact that he was making, is really the impact, like how many people you can impact. It's so many people who, like me, who don't really, you're making a whole bunch of money. So you're trying to put money away for retirement, but you don't have a solid retirement plan. And EXP is the retirement plan out of all retirement plans. So that was the main thing that got me. And then the fact that I can leave my revenue share to my children, all that stuff is like generational wealth, just all bundled up in one. So that just, it blew my mind. And so I'm like, okay, but I still had to slow pace it in. This was like the end of December, we did this, right? And so I had to pray about who to go under and, all of that stuff, because it's really important to me, because marketplace ministry is important. I believe that we're supposed to impact people for God from where we are, where we work, so that's why I partner with Justin, because he's really big on that,
Yeah.
And I just know that it's important who you align yourself with,
For sure. Definitely. Yeah. That was awesome response to that, and that's the type of response that I usually look for. A lot of people, they're guided, they just underestimate God a lot of times, most times. Like they take their environment into consideration too much sometimes, that they're not able to see the guidance. But that was like a crazy journey, like 7 years in KW, and then just. And I see, so you're mentioning Heaven, right? Your team member, she's in Arizona.
Yes.
Is she independent broker over there, or meaning like there is no one else? You guys setting up a team there, or what's the plan in Arizona?
So it's Trinity. just expanded. Trinity expanded into Arizona.
So you're recruiting agents there already? You guys have any agents?
She's the only agent there now. So we're just working on branding ourselves there, and then we'll start adding people to the team.
Nice. And how many agents do you have here in Michigan?
We have 4 agents here in Michigan.
Wow. And how did you, I guess, leaving or not leaving Reggie, coming to KW with Reggie, right? How did you come up with the idea of starting your team when you were producing yourself? Like, how did that journey come about for you?
Well, I've always, like I said, I've always been business, right? Like, so I always try to find a way to leveraging people and just helping people. I want to, like, I want to be able to build wealth, help teach people how to build wealth, right? So I want to reproduce my systems and show people how to use them, so that's always been my mindset. Like, how can I streamline this? How can I get someone that does this better than me? Like Heaven, even though she's in Arizona, she does all of our buyer consultations because she does it so well. I just want to empower people to work in their strengths and let me work in mine. That's the goal.
Nice. And so when you started your personal production, I just like to ask like all the team leads this question because I have struggled through it myself when I started my team in 2021. Like, did you stop producing or did you stay in production? Are you still in production? How do you balance that? Like managing a team, teaching others, training, coaching, holding them accountable in your team. What level of accountability you have in your team? I know my questions are very, very complicated sometimes, multiple faces. But are you still in production? If you are, how are you balancing it with holding your agents accountable, and what level of accountability you have with your agents?
So so first and foremost, I don't want to take the credit for starting a team. The Lord actually told me to give Heaven all my buyers at one point. And I had like $30,000 worth of buyers in my pipeline. And I'm like, Lord, what do you mean? What do you mean? So, but I did it, and it has been a blessing ever since. It has been struggles, trying to build a team where, I never lacked income, like my income never changed or went down or anything, but I didn't get to excel like I wanted to because you do have to step back and build the team and build systems. But because of the favor of God on my life, he always sent me business. He always allowed, I always had everything I needed, right? Plus some. So I'm just getting to the point where I have a balance, seriously, where, I can talk to the agents every week. We have our one-on-ones and, do the trainings and all of that with them. And I still can do, the volume that I want to do, but I definitely believe this will be my last year in production. I'm going to go out with a bang, but no, definitely this to be my last year in production.
I said that God's talking again. Last year in production, huh?
Yeah. I've been doing so. I have been working very hard for a very long time, and the sales part is, it's amazing because I get to touch people's lives. But I want to get more into coaching agents and like just pouring into different agents. I can't really expand into different states if I'm still in production. So it's going to be a leap of faith, but I have to, I know the vision the Lord gave me, and it was to expand in different states, and I have to give my all to that and give my all to coaching agents and pushing them in their strengths.
Yes, and that's something, when I'm the type of person, if I could see possibility, like even like remote possibility, I just like blindly, I stopped my production on its track. Like it was October 2020. My last year, actually my last month as an individual agent, and I was already thinking team, but I was confused. Like, okay, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna just recruit one agent at a time and get them onboarded, kind of give them some of my business as I'm growing, or should I just go full-fledged? So I started doing research into other, successful teams and how they did it, right? Like I looked into Jeff Glover, I looked into Justin Ford, I looked into like pretty much everyone in our environment, in our market, who started a team at one point and then grew into bigger brokerages. How did they do it? And I saw like each one of them, like I couldn't find anyone who stopped production, right? Completely. But every single one of them eventually did. So I'm like, okay, I get it. Nobody wanted to, and I hired a team coach who taught me the growth phases of a team and all that stuff. They also advised me, like, if you stop production, you're going to lose money. I'm like, I don't care. It's not that I don't care for money, but I don't care for the income itself, rather than I'm more fixed on my end goal. So I'll just do it. And I did. Like I fully stopped production in October of 2020. even though like I still ended up having like 30 deals on my name in 2021, but I didn't serve those clients. I could confidently say that I fully focused on learning how to deal with people. That's probably the one of the biggest things you have to learn. If you're planning on starting a team, anyone who's listening in, you have to understand people's personalities. So tell us, like, how'd you learn that part? How'd you learn dealing with other people's personality that's not like yours? Or are you the type, like there are type out there that like I will only attract my type to myself, right? Like how do you go about it? How do you deal with it?
So I am led by God on who I add to my team, and I have attracted mostly people that are like me. So it's easier to deal with, but also Holy Spirit guiding me and teaching me how, and of course, like the disc assessment and all those things as well, showing me like, okay, so I know what my strengths are and knowing what other people's strengths are and how to, and even their weaknesses and how to, lean on their strengths and pull away from their weaknesses and then push them up even in the weaknesses and encourage like me walking in faith and love and all of that stuff helps a whole lot because it helps you to be more patient. It helps you, to endure through situations that you would usually not endure through. So you can kind of figure out what this person really needs, from you. So it's for sure a journey, but it's what we signed up for.
Yeah, I did it the hard way. I recruited anyone and everyone. Anyone and everyone come in. I recruited actually 16 agents in 2021 up to like April of the first quarter. I was like full recruited mode. I spent a lot of money on ads. People like fill out applications, interview, you're in. Interview, you're in. Interview, you're in.
How did that go for you? Like, and how is it going?
Nightmare. Don't ever do that. Whoever. But I felt like I needed to do that for my long run to be able to understand how to deal with people. I never wanted to. I actually literally, it's a quote by me somewhere, written somewhere. I believe it's written somewhere because God is listening in, where I said, I will never be a broker. So I'm the type of person, I don't see a lot of benefit. I didn't in the past in teaching people my way. It's always my way. I know how to do it and I just get it done myself. I just never had the patience of like teaching someone else how I do things to get them to. But until like I realized like, you know what, if I leverage people, we sold 118 houses in 2021 without me being in production. That came from a difficult journey. It's that like learning how to deal with people. Disc assessment is probably a lifesaver. Like if you are running an organization or a business or a team or brokerage and you're not doing disc assessment, you're completely blind because I read someone's disc assessment and then I'm with them like a whole day. There is no like, you can't tell like this person's like that unless, you read the disc assessment, then you can read it in their behavior. That was a lifesaver. Disc assessment was definitely, my coaches suggested that to me from the beginning. So from the beginning, from my agent, my very first agent is still with me today. He was a laid off engineer and he decided to get licensed in 2020. And, I knew him for 8 years before that. So I read his disc assessment. I'm like, I didn't know all this stuff. And it had a lot with like when they're going through their weakness, you could actually understand like, hey, they're under pressure right now. That's why they're behaving that way. Otherwise, I would have like let them go. Well, thankfully, so far I haven't let nobody go, even though like we're cut down to four members now. But like people, if you stick to your systems and processes, and coaching and accountability, people figure it out on their own. That's what I learned through this whole chaos of recruiting 16 agents and letting go. Well, not letting go, like them letting themselves go off the team. Is that people, if as long as we commit to our goals and our vision, it plays out. For me, it just played out for myself. So thanks for sharing that. That definitely, I resonate with that a lot with personalities and attracting the like-minded people to yourself is crucial. Don't like swim against the current. I would advise to everyone is that Just stick to, your vision, and people that see the same vision will come with you.
Yes, 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 yes.
So tell me, why is Reggie not with you? I mean, did you talk to him about EXP, or should I?
So I'm working on them.
Okay. No, I haven't spoken to him, but I actually considered. So once I came to EXP, I'm like, okay, who am I going to talk to? I made my list. Reggie's on it, by the way. So everyone that I dealt business with, so this same concept is that, why swim against the current and like try to go recruit all these agents? So I would rather just work on relationships I already have, connections I already have them just open the conversation, and it would land it in its place when time is right.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, and that's where I am. I wanted to just, I've been here 2 months, so it's like just wanted to get planted and get everything situated with my business and my agents, and then I'll, start working on those things.
That's how I'm working on, by the way. Are you guys settled in?
Yeah, we're settled in now. It was a little bump in the road with our CRMs and things of that sort, but we finally got it together.
Wait, so were you using a different CRM before you came to?
Yeah, I was using RealVob actually, and RealVob, and it when I saw KB Core, it was like I couldn't unsee it, but KB Core just didn't have all the things that I needed, so then I ended up going to Follow Up Boss. Yeah.
So where did that come from? Who suggested Follow Up Boss to you?
Actually, Mark Blair and Justin. They actually both. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been using Follow Up Boss for 6 years now. So if you need any help, Follow Up Boss, I'm your guy. Like,
yeah.
I do a full setup, meaning set up in a way where there is different ways of setting it up, but like a lot of people, they just don't have a follow-up process themselves, right? Like people when you don't have your own follow-up process, you're going into a CRM. CRM is only there to serve you.
Exactly.
And who you follow up with your clients. If you have that, then setup is easy. Otherwise, it's just like there's 50 different ways of setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to get on a call and see what you're doing, and maybe stuff that I know or learn from you. More than anything, I want to steal your good ideas.
I want to steal yours too. But yeah, I look forward to talking to you more. I'm really excited. I know I'm using the light from my window, so I'm getting a little dark in here.
Yeah, the sun's going really low now. But I'm not gonna keep you for too long. But how does someone with 12 years of experience in real estate, actually longer, you start 2004 with mortgages and all that stuff, right? So there's more experience behind that. With all of that, you could have opened your own brokerage, have your own like mega brokerage, or like have full control of everything you want to do, branding and all that stuff. Like, how does coming to EXP benefit you? Because I myself had this objection, like, I want to do my own thing, right? God wants me to have my own thing.
Yeah.
How does that, like, coming to EXP, giving up of control? We know how much control is not much control, but giving up on control, that's this usual people would think of it this way, that I'm giving up my company control and coming. When I have the ability, I'm sure EXP doesn't bring business to you. You're your business. Right. So how does coming to EXP benefit you, and how is that a plus being with EXP?
Yeah. So for one, the plus being with EXP is like I don't have to worry about any of the back end stuff, right? I don't have to worry about cutting checks to my agents or, any of that stuff. And I also don't have to worry about like a actual training schedule or any of that. Like I can coach my agents along and tell them to go to this class and do this class, but they already have all the training in place, right? And even the cap is nothing, like the $16,000 we pay, we get it back. I know I'll get it back. I'm sure you get it back, because the volume that we do. So it's a no-brainer, like they're doing all the stuff that we don't want to do as salespeople, as agents, exactly, for free, seriously, so it's a no-brainer because I still get to do everything I want to do. I still get to, all I have to do is put EXP on there. I still get to brand everything I want to brand the way I want to brand it. I still get to do my systems and follow up with my clients and do everything that I want to do, add agents on my team. And then like I'm a mentor now, so I get to mentor people and see who like find an agent. They're doing the recruiting for me. You know, like I can mentor those agents and bring them on my team. Or, you know, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So when I learned that, I was like, when I, learned all the stuff that EXP did for your business, like basically they run your brokerage for you. You don't even have to be a broker, first of all, right? You could be an agent and act like a broker, right?
Exactly.
When I learned that, I'm like, I am never going back to a regular brokerage again, because end of the day, those regular brokerages still have cracks that, they're trying to figure out. I'm like, why would I be 10 years behind? This company is here now, and it'll take me 10 years to perfect the system like they did, and like have the processes set up and all that stuff.
Exactly.
In those 10 years, they're gonna be 20 years ahead. Like, I'm only setting myself back, not coming to this brokerage. So I decided to leave. I have very good relationship with the brokerage that I came from a private brokerage, not a franchise brokerage. But I had to leave some of those very good relationships behind because of my vision. Because I'm like, this is complete no-brainer. You're not really paying a whole lot of money. If anything, I look at it, I done the calculation myself. It's probably like $4,000 to $5,000 if you consider all the numbers.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell us, where do you see the industry that we are in right now, real estate industry? Where do you see this going in the next 5 years? Let's just limit it. In the next 5 years, at the end of 5 years, where do you see the market going, and where do you see real estate sales industry, the agency, where we are going with this?
With EXP? Like, where do I see
with the whole real estate industry, where do you think we will be in 5 years?
So in 5 years, like, I truly believe that the market, I mean, studying the market, the market usually goes, everybody's looking for a big crash, right? And usually the market goes up for about 8 or 9 years, and then it comes down for 2 or 3 years, and then it goes back up again, and we've only had that big crash back in 2008 and 2009 because of what they were doing with the foreclosure. So I don't see us having like a crash or anything. I do see the market's going to continue to climb, just like everything else, has always continued to climb. So I think that we're going to continue on the uptrend. It may go down a little bit. We may get a little 10%, 15% max decrease is what I think. And then it'll head right back up.
Well, I'm more optimistic than that. I'll be like, no decrease. We are only like going to them.
Yeah.
But you're more realistic, I would say. And yeah, there will be adjustment. Yes, at some point, maybe if not in 5 years, maybe the 6th year or 7th year.
Yeah.
We've just been overdue of, recovery. And how do you think technology will play a role? Using Power Up Boss tells me that you believe in technology. Like, a lot of people are still living in a Stone Age, but how do you think technology will play a role to the market itself?
Well, I think like technology is amazing. It's especially like social media, the metaverse, all of that stuff. Like, I truly believe it's going to take real estate to the next level. It already has, like, all the people that we can connect with on social media. Just imagine how we've grown our business just from the technology that we have now, right? And then like me setting up action plans where the text messages automatically go out to your clients and all of that stuff. Like, it's just so advanced. Like, if you do the business right and use the technology right, it's no way that you can't succeed.
And last thing, okay, I promise. Your advice to someone who maybe, there's a lot of agents starting out, right? And they're seeing success fast too. It's not like I got licensed 2014. I didn't see success that fast, right? I got agents who are making 100,000 in their first year. I got agents I'm coaching that like killing it, right? But what would you advise someone who may be starting out, maybe not seeing success, or maybe they are seeing success? What would be your advice to them to maybe take it to the next level? Build a business out like yourself, being a business person and understanding how leverage works. What would be your advice aside from coming to EXP? But
right, of course, talk to one of us about EXP. No, but I would tell everyone to if you're new, tap into social media. Like, you definitely want to tap into social media, tap into the systems and the trainings that your brokerage has. If you're not at a brokerage that has trainings, you need to come to EXP. But
I love that.
No, but seriously, like I know that my business went to the next level when I start working on myself. They say to be wealthy, you need to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So start educating yourself, not just in your craft, but and getting better habits and things of that sort as well. Reading more. It takes you have to put something in you so it can come out. You can have something to give to your clients, right? So I would say that definitely hone in on building yourself up. And then as far as marketing goes, utilize technology, utilize social media, get out there and talk to people. It's so many. You can talk to people right from your couch. We're talking to people right from our couches and chairs, so utilize it because it is so powerful. I can tell you, like, every time I went live, I got at least 2 calls of new business every single time. So social media is very powerful.
A lot of people don't realize why lives are so powerful, right? Well, I started doing research recently and I found out that the reason why lives are so powerful is because every time you go live, everyone who's friends with you gets notified. If you go live from a business page, everyone who follows your business page gets notified.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't hear, like, we got one person left that's listening in still, like, thank you for listening in. But everyone in my, like, once I tag you, everyone in your friends list will be notified that you were live. Mm-hmm. And that's it. It's brand impression. That's all it is, over and over again. Mm-hmm. Versus if you're just like, a lot of people get caught up in like perfect video and the edit and all this stuff. You post that, like sometimes it's, depending on how you post it, if you know how to post that, if you know when to post and all that stuff, less than 2% of your followers see that.
Yeah.
Your perfectly edited video that you spend maybe money on or time, even more crazy, right? But you just go live and you just make mistakes. That's what God gave us this world for, is to explore, is to learn through experience. Right. I am amazed by your experience so far. So I definitely have to set up a time with you. Let's get on a call, just us. We'll talk business and see how we can collaborate together, and if any way we can. And it's been a pleasure having you here. And thank you for your time, for sharing your experience. And I'm looking forward to have you again, maybe in the